Yo guys, Moto Buddies here and welcome to another video. And yeah, so today we're going to be reviewing our Stomp Juicebox 1110. Just a little different video for you guys out there, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Jay. It's pretty, it's not that great weather for riding, so we didn't get to ride out today. But what we thought we'd do is Jay does get to ride this, and we thought we'd review this and give you pros and cons.
Yeah, pros and cons.
Give you a dad's perspective of why we bought this particular motorcycle and your perspective.
Yeah, my perspective. Yeah, so we decided to do this today because we've been uploading, our past two videos have been on this bike, and I've been riding it. My dad's been watching, giving me tips on how to do opposite lock and all of that and shenanigans, and yeah.
Yeah, so this has been, there's one difference in this video though.
Yeah.
We've got audio.
Audio, yes.
So we're struggling with the audio. So we've got these like different types of microphones and stuff, and we're experimenting with our crash helmets. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to record great audio other than booming exhaust noises.
Yeah.
From the setup we have.
Just wind, so
we'll play with that.
Yeah.
We'll work that out. But enough about that. Let's get on to this.
Yeah. When you first look at the bike, it just looks like a normal CRF based. It's basically a Honda CRF remake. So it's basically like the Honda CRF, and it's a different brand, but it uses the same engine and it's got basically all the same controls.
Let's talk about this bike actually. All right, so Jay, why don't you have a sit on it so I can get some perspective on it. So first of all, you might notice it's a bit muddy. So just fresh from Jay's last ride off, what we do, usually we wash the bike down. Yeah, we give the bike a wash down and a WD-40, but because it gets so muddy, there's no point in literally scrubbing it with a toothbrush. We wash it down and then we cover it basically in WD-40 just to keep it all oiled. We oil the chain and just clean off the controls. So yeah, it's a little bit mud left on there, but that's all right.
What I enjoy about this bike is like the amount of gears it's got. So I can.
So what are the controls?
So what we've got here is we've got the kill switch.
Yeah.
We've got my throttle, which is on the right hand side, my
foot brake,
rear brake.
Yeah, rear brake, that's
rear
it.
brake, and this is the kickstarter.
Yeah, and what
also got the gear shifter, which is, in my opinion, not the best thing.
Yeah, so what do you find good about it?
So what I don't find good about the gear shifter is that when I'm riding and I go around the corner, I need to go down a gear, I have to push down, right?
Okay, so what are the gears? How many gears has it got,
We've
first
got
of all?
4 gears on this bike.
4 gears. So no clutch.
No clutch.
It's a semi-automatic, so you do have to change gear, but no clutch. Because you're a new rider, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do you engage first gear?
So to engage first gear, you put it all the way down to neutral. So to go down a gear, you just push down. But to go up, you have to do that. But you see, I can't really get up because it's very stiff. So when I'm riding, this is what I don't like about it. I have to go up like that. I have to go up like that and then sit down. It's really difficult to change gears when going up and down. So if I've got a straight path and I want to go a bit fast, it's very problematic. I have to get up and then sit down.
Yeah, and also it doesn't help with the boots, the motocross boots.
Yeah, that makes everything more stiff.
More tricky. So actually the gear shift takes a lot to be desired. So it actually changes gear well, but actually changing the actual gear is very difficult. Now, if I come around here, come down here, let's have a look at this gear shift. If you move your foot away, Jay. There we go. All right. So for all you dads out there, you might see that this is adjustable. So what I could do is undo it, take it out, move the position, and then put it back in to raise the gear lever up a bit higher. Unfortunately, what happens is that this fails under here, under the casing, so you can't adjust it any further, because obviously when we're on the racetrack out and doing track days, we always adjust our gears to our foot controls so that we can change gear better. But unfortunately you can't really do that here because of this, the way this setup is. So that's kind of as good as it gets unless I bend it, so it's a bit of a tricky thing. Okay, cool. So what's this bike based off?
as I said before, it's actually based off a Honda CRF. So this one, we only bought it a year ago, so it's in pretty good condition, and we haven't given it like a very big wash since then. That's why it's so muddy. But there's really no point, is there, in cleaning it?
It's had a wash every time it's been out, mate. Yeah. So I guess we haven't had a super scrub where we literally scrub everything off. So yeah, you're right. But let's talk about more of this bike from a dad's perspective. So overall, the bike is based on the venerable Honda CRF 70. So the frame, engine, and configuration is basically based off that bike, and we all know that's a legendary bike. The trouble is, the Honda CRF costs a hell of a lot of money for what it is. And so I did some research, I looked around, and I found this company, Stomp, was quite reputable in terms of what people were saying, and also you could get service parts for this bike, replacement engines if need be, cylinder heads, carburetors, and etc. So I chose this bike. The other thing is, Jay's new to riding, wanted to get a bike that was easy to get on with, and so having a 4-speed gearbox, which was with no clutch, made sense. Also 4-stroke, meaning that the power delivery is a bit more easier rather than a peaky 2-stroke, which is screaming everywhere. So that's why I chose this particular bike, and actually it's been pretty good, very reliable. A couple of good points on this bike is that it's very robust, it crashes well, and it's quite easy to clean and maintain. We change the oil after every few hours of riding. It just makes sense because the type of riding it does. But it's pretty restricted actually. So this bike cost me around £500 new. I think they're worth a bit more than that now, about 600 quid. But oh, look at that tyre. Shock's clean though, chain is clean, all the bits and pieces. One of the issues that we do have with the bike is that when Jay goes through some big puddles, that air filter does get clogged up with a lot of mud and moisture. So apparently there are special air filters that you can buy from the aftermarket which avoid them taking in too much water and getting clogged up. So we've had an instance where we've seen somebody else with a Juicebox 140, I believe, where it hydraulically seized because it took in so much water. That's what the dad of the guy we saw who had the bike said. We didn't experience anything like that ourselves. Jay's knee is kind of covering the air filter, so the most of the muck doesn't really get on it, but when it does get wet it takes a while, but we shake it off and it starts up and you're good to go again, right? Right, so there you are, Stomp Juicebox 1110. Look, it would be a bit of a boring video if we didn't ride this bike, so why don't you give it a whirl? Are you good at kickstarting?
I don't think so.
No, that's another problem actually.
Let's try.
It's pretty hard to kickstart.
Let's try this.
So it's always me running on track trying to start it up.
Yep, that's right, that's right.
Don't hurt yourself, mate. Ready? Okay, so Jay's just put on his helmet. You got your, well, we're only going for a ride around the garden, so here you go, Jay. Let's go. Stomp Juicebox demo. It's a bit tight around there.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching our video. Go ahead, hit that bell icon, subscribe, comment down below what kind of dirt bike do you like.
Yeah.
And to be honest guys, I think this is a very cost effective bike to have. Maybe an alternative to your daily dirt bike, your Honda CRF, or yeah, so
yeah, I can vouch for that. I think this is actually a cost effective solution for getting into biking for the money that we paid. It's a lot of money actually, but compared to what you'd have to pay for a Honda, double, triple some of this, I think it's worthwhile. Jay's getting a bit taller, so we're going to have to look at getting you a clutch. Something a bit more pokey, but this will get handed down to his brother, so we'll see how it goes. All right, thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.